Okay, what is up? So I got first round mock draft I'm about to do, and yeah, I'll go through each pick. 32 teams, 32 teams, 32 picks. There isn't 32 teams because everybody wants to trade away their picks. But yeah, we'll get into it straight away. Jacksonville Jaguars with the first overall pick. I'm gonna go for Aiden Hutchinson. I just think it makes too much sense. Like I'm not gonna. This is gonna be what I want to do mock draft. It's not gonna be what I necessarily think will happen. There'll be a bit of that. Like I just think that Aiden Hutchinson one is the best player in the draft, and for the Jaguars getting another possibly elite pass rusher like opposite of Josh Allen, I think could be really good for that defense. They didn't really address the edge rusher a lot in free agency. They kind of addressed every other position that was kind of a weakness. Like they already franchise tags their tackles, so Evan Neal doesn't make a ton of sense since they kind of already got their two tackles and they have Walker Little. So yeah, that wouldn't make a ton of sense. Then they signed a bunch of receivers and stuff, and you're not going to take any of these receivers first overall. So just think Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's a much better player than Trayvon Walker. I honestly find it ridiculous all the hype that he's getting just because of his athleticism. Like that's all it is. The only thing that makes him better than Aiden Hutchinson is his length and athleticism. Like, come on, you gotta look at the tape. So then that brings us to the Detroit Lions with the second overall pick. I really think Malik Willis is like a possibility to happen. I don't know if they met with him. I didn't see that happen. I know they met with Kenny Pickett. Whew. They better not take him second overall. Maybe 32nd or in the second round. I can see that. But yeah, for the Lions, I don't think tackle makes a ton of sense. Their offensive line's kind of locked up. So, I mean, I'm just going to go for Kayvon Thibodeau. I still think he's easily the second best pass rusher in this class. Very close to Aiden Hutchinson, I think. So, yeah, I really like Kayvon Thibodeau, and it's kind of ridiculous also that he's kind of getting slandered for his own brand and everything. Like he's not allowed to have interests outside of football, which, I mean, of course you're allowed to. It's not just football, football, football. And just everything he's done for Oregon is just an amazing pass rusher and would really help out that defense. Because honestly, the team doesn't have a ton of needs, and taking a possibly elite edge rusher in Kayvon Thibodeau, why not? So the Texans at number 3. Trayvon Walker could be an option, but I'm just not going to want to do that. I even think Ahmad Gardner, that could be a possibility. Like Derek Stingley, he's kind of getting hyped up again. But yeah, for me, I'm going to go for Akem Ekwonu. Has guard flexibility also. Maybe if you don't want to stick him at tackle straight away, because who's it? Titus Howard's not played horrible for them at tackle, and they've got Larry Tunsil already at left tackle. So I think Akem Ekwonu could step in at guard, and that would really it would really help out your run defense because Akem Ekwonu is probably the best run blocker in this whole class. But I also do think that he could step in at tackle straight away. I still think he'll struggle a bit, like his footwork and like everything about his pass protection isn't the best. I still think he could be pretty decent. I don't think he'll be as good as Evan Neal as just a pure pass protector or Charles Cross even. But as a really good run blocker and the upside to become an elite pass protector, I'm just going to go for Akem Ekwonu, shore up that offensive line, get protection for whoever's going to be the quarterback. Then the Jets, Evan Neal could be a real possibility. I don't think Kyle Hamilton will go. Maybe at number 10, like Garrett Wilson, he could go number 4. I would not be surprised. Even Drake London, if they prefer Drake London. This is actually a pretty difficult one. Like their offensive line is not bad, but I still could see them taking Evan Neal if they think he's like just that good of a player. I'm gonna go for Ahmad Gardner. Their corner position is not looking as bad. They got DJ Reed. their slot, they could have like Cameron Eccles or Michael Carter to take up that position. But then Breece Hall, like he's not been bad. Did I say Bryce Hall? No, Breece. It's Breece, isn't it? The hell? Yeah, I think it is. No, yeah. I'm just tripping. Yeah, but I think Mark Gardner, he's just a lockdown corner. That's what he was in college. I think he could like be that for the Jets, and I would not take Trayvon Walker at this point. And I think getting that elite cornerback into that secondary could really that's kind of the only really big need. They just need one more corner, and I think Ahmad Garner come in, and I mean the defense isn't looking too bad. So then it makes the Giants pick pretty easy. Just gonna go for Evan Neal. Yeah, they really need to improve that offensive line. They've already got Andrew Thomas, who showed more promise last year, especially like the last half of the season. He was looking very good, which is promising, and you can hope that he just continues to get better. But then really the rest of the offensive line isn't great. I do like Matthew Parrott, but I mean I just think he could be like a really good third kind of tackle, swing tackle, if somebody gets injured. Even though I think he can be a starter, but you're not going to, like, just because you have Matt Pert, not take Evan Neal. I think if Ikwame Kanu was on the board and Evan Neal, I would take Ikwame Kanu because he could play in guard, which is a really big need for the Giants. But Evan Neal, you can't pass up on Evan Neal. Makes it pretty easy. And then the Panthers. Quarterback is a real option, but Charles Cross is also here, and their offensive line is doo-doo. The only really good player they got on that offensive line is the right tackle. Yeah, who's the right tackle? Taylor Modon. He's the only really good player they got on the offensive line. The left tackle, they do have Brady Christensen, but I think he could be better at guard than tackle. So I think you put him at left guard, Charles Cross at left tackle, elite pass protector in college. He's super good at pass protection. His run defense will need work, but pass protection is more important. And if you can protect your quarterback, give them time to throw the ball, really help out that offense. And then for the Giants' second pick, I could see Trayvon Walker. That could be a possibility. Jermaine Johnson also. Even Kyle Hamilton could happen. They do value the corner position a lot, especially with the Ravens defensive coordinator. Like receiver, if they fall in love with one of the receivers, I think that could be an option. Yeah, I'm going to go for Derek Stingley. I still think he's an amazing player. I just take Ahmad Garner above him just a little bit just because of the injury. Like, it could be concerning. But the upside that Derek Stingley could have with how good he played at LSU that 1 year. And, like, it's not like he played bad the rest of the time. So, I mean, I feel like the hate wasn't really deserving. It was not a great situation at LSU. They lost their coach and everything. Like, the COVID year, everybody opted out. Like, I mean, maybe the motivation just wasn't there. That could be concerning the NFL. If the Giants are good, he just stops playing. But I think you take a shot on Derek Stingley. They need to get more corners, especially if James Bradbury leaves. And could be elite straight away. I would not be surprised. So the Falcons at 8. I would not take a quarterback if I was the Falcons. You got too many needs to draft a possible backup quarterback this year. Like, you could go anywhere. Receiver position is horrible. Trade down would be a really good idea for the Falcons. I just don't know if they do it. And this is where I'm just going to go for the upside of Trayvon Walker. You're in a rebuild. Like, take a player that might take a few years to develop in Trayvon Walker. And I'm not denying that he could become a really good player. It's not the greatest chance that it happens. It's not happened a lot with a player who's not produce it done in college and just has athleticism to really um, drive him to become an elite player. But I think the Falcons, they've got a horrible edge rush group, and just getting a freakish athlete in Trayvon Walker who could have really good upside. And maybe when you're not rebuilding anymore and you're kind of ready to start trying to compete, he could be a possible elite edge rusher. So that's what I would do if he's there on the board. I think it'd be a good option. I think if there was corners available, like I wouldn't take Trent McDuffie at this point. Probably more mid to late first round for me. Um, so I think Trayvon Walker is the best pick at this point. So this brings us to the Seahawks. I mean, if Malik Willis is here, I think they could consider it. I would not be surprised. Jermaine Johnson could be a consideration. Even Jordan Davis could. I would not take him top 10 though. I'm just not gonna do that. Like Trent McDuffie, possible. I don't really think anybody else. Yeah, I'll take a shot at Malik Willis. Like, why not? You don't really got a quarterback there. He could start straight away, to be honest. Like Drew Lock, is he going to be our starter, or is it Geno Smith who is signed for $7 million? I would not really like that. So I just take Malik Willis. You hope that you maybe got a potentially elite quarterback, and moving on from Russell Wilson doesn't look as bad. And he's got the receivers to really help him out if he does start straight away, like DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Like that's some pretty good targets to throw to, and he does have the athleticism to run around, be a good athlete, can throw the ball deep. Like it could be a really good fit. Like I could just see him throwing the ball like 100 yards to freaking DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett. And so for the Jets, pick 10, Kyle Hamilton could be. I don't know if they go for the secondary twice though, and no receivers are off the board. And yeah, I'm going to go for Garrett Wilson. I think he's the best receiver in the class. Really good route runner, just good all-round player. Gives you a potential, like, I think he has everything to be a number one receiver. Maybe not the size, like maybe you wish he was like a bit taller and heavier. But just everything about his game translates well to the NFL. Get Zach Wilson some more help. Like Corey Davis can be more of a 2 in the offense, and then you kind of already got your slot. You got Elijah Moore, and you've got some other players like Braxton Berrios. They got some tight ends, CJ Uzama. The receiving options for Zach Wilson are looking pretty good, and the offensive line is good. So, yeah, Garrett Wilson, day one, come and be a really good player. So, for the Washington football team, Kyle Hamilton definitely could happen. I could see Jameson Williams getting that speed option for Carson Wentz, but I'm going to go for Drake London. Like, Carson Wentz can just chuck up the ball to Drake London. He likes throwing to the taller receivers. Drake London definitely is that. You got Terry McLaurin, who can be more of your kind of deep threat in the offense. I mean, De'Ami Brown, hopefully he takes a step up. He is just a deep threat. So I don't think you need to go for another one in Jameson Williams or Chris Olave. So I think Drake London getting that big target, which they kind of don't have at the receiver position. I think that'd be a really good pick for Washington. Again, receiver could be an option for the Vikings also. Like, I don't know, maybe Jordan Davis. But I'll just go for Kyle Hamilton. I'll stop the fall, even though I think he could fall out of the top 10 definitely people kind of getting on to him now and like seeing that he's maybe not the elite player that everybody thought he was earlier in the draft process. So I think 12 would be a really good place for him to go to the Vikings. They got Harrison Smith there, who is aging. He's probably not only got a few years left, And the other safety position, there's nobody really else there. I don't think they did. I don't think no. They didn't sign Xavier Woods, who was pretty good for them last year. So it's Cal Hamilton to start straight away. And yeah, I'd like Cal Hamilton going there. I think they do a good job at coaching him, also especially with the mentor like I almost said Patrick Pearson, but he's a corner. Harrison Smith, yeah. So the Texans went offensive tackle with the first pick. Yeah, what could they? They could do a lot of things. Like, there's so many different ways that the Texans could go here. I think receiver, edge. I'm gonna go for Jordan Davis though. They don't really got anybody else in that interior of the defensive line. Like Fodu didn't look bad last year, but I think Jordan Davis coming day one be a really good run stopper. He's got amazing upside also, which you're kind of looking for in the Texans. You kind of just want to get players that can come and grow with this team and be starters for many years, which I think Jordan Davis could definitely be. The Ravens now. Devontae Wyatt, I could see. Maybe Trent McDuffie. Maybe. I'd go for Jermaine Johnson, though. Maybe not the best scheme fit. I think it is still a good scheme fit. Like, he is an athlete. He can run that 3-4. And they do such a good job at developing edge rushers. You've got Adafe Owe, Tyus Bowser. But they use so much edge rushers. Like, he'll get a ton of snaps next year. And just getting a potentially elite pass rusher, number 14, a player that could go much earlier in this draft. I think that's a really good pick for the Ravens. Now the Eagles' first pick, Jameson Williams, definitely a possibility. Definitely. Devontae Wyatt, I think that could be a really good pick. I'm going to go for Trent McDuffie, though. They could use another corner. He maybe profiles more of a slot, and they've kind of already got their slot. But I think he'll play on the outside. Well, he will play on the outside, definitely, because they already got their slot. But I think he'll play day one on the outside and be good at it. Like, he did that in college. He was locked down. I know it is a jump from college to the NFL, but everything that he showed, and just, like, being that lockdown corner, getting another player in there for the Eagles. They got Darius Slay, who is aging. So getting Trent McDuffie to really help out that secondary, I think that'd be a good pick at 15. So for the Saints, Trevor Penning, they still got a need at left tackle. It's kind of, for me with the Saints, it's receiver, offensive tackle, and interior defensive line. That's the three places that I think they should target in the draft overall, but in the first round, mostly receiver and offensive tackle. And I think there's two really good options here, and I feel like if I don't take Trevor Penning here, then he will get taken by the Chargers. So I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to take Trevor Penning now, get hopefully a really good replacement for Teron Armstead. It could be rough early on for Trevor Penning, but I think you just see what he can do, develop in that offense. You know he'll be a really good run blocker straight away. He was amazing at that in college. So, yeah, I think that's the only really... Bernhard Raymond kind of after him, I'd say. The tackle class really drops off. You know, really... I don't think you'll be getting a starter in like the second or third round. It's just not going to happen in this class. I think you got to go for somebody in the first round. And then that leaves the Chargers missing out on Trevor Penning, which would be unfortunate for them. They don't really got a lot of needs. I still think maybe the interior of the offensive line. Receiver, I think, could be an option. I'm kind of thinking either Devontae Wyatt or receiver. I don't really want to go linebacker. I'm not a huge fan of taking any of the linebackers at this point. Probably take them more late in the first round. So I'm going to go for Chris Olave because you don't know whether Jameson Williams will be able to play straight away. But you know Chris Olave can come in, be that third receiver, kind of be that deep threat for Justin Herbert, which they don't really have. They got the big body receivers, but getting a true speed threat in Chris Olave, that could just really elevate this offense and make it pretty nasty. Like, I think that'd be a really good pick. So now pick 18 for the Eagles. We went corner with the first pick. Devontae Wyatt, wouldn't mind that. Even like Zion Johnson, I could see. Definitely. I might take linebacker, though. They need linebacker so bad, but it's also just such a deep class. I'd like Daxton Hill, but already taking a player in the secondary. Receiver, though. I do like the possibility of a receiver. Developmental edge, like George Karlaftis could be nice. Yeah, I'll go for George Karlaftis. I think he's getting a bit too much hate. Well, not hate, but people just aren't really considering him going high anymore. Like, people had him early on going like top 10, mid first round. But I think, George Karlaftis, day one impact at the edge. They do have edges, but they've got aging players and just kind of average guys there anyway. And I think George Karlaftis, he could play inside and outside. You can move him into defensive line for some snaps. Like, I just think you can use him all over the place, and he'll be a good run stopper. He'll get after the passer. Really good strength. He's just a good all-around player, and I feel pretty confident that he won't be a bust or anything. Like, I feel like at least they'll just be a really good, like, rotational player. But I think he does have upside to be more. And then this makes the Saints pick pretty easy. Jameson Williams, like, it's too easy. Receiver position outside of Michael Thomas, not great. I do like Marcus Callaway, but he's not a number 2 receiver. I like him more as a depth. I like Deontay Harris in the slot. He's got blazing speed also. And adding Jameson Williams, who's a good route runner and probably the fastest player in this draft out of the, just like on the field, maybe like 4-yard dash times like Taquan Thornton, but the way he plays is just so fast. And yeah, I love Jameson Williams. Potentially could be the best receiver in this class. The Steelers now. Kenny Pickett could be a real option. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Kenny Pickett. Screw it. Come back and just pick Kenny Pickett. Why not? Keep him in Pittsburgh. You've already got really good defense. I think Kenny Pickett, he's probably the player out of this quarterback class who has, like, maybe the lowest upside. He's probably not got the lowest upside, but I don't think he'll ever be a top 10 quarterback. But when you've got a really good defense, Mike Tomlin, who's going to value the defense, he'll just want a quarterback that can come in, run the offense efficiently, not turn the ball over And I think Kenny Pickett can do that for the Steelers. The Patriots. Andrew Booth could be an option. Definitely could be an option. Same with linebacker. Yeah, this might be where I take the first linebacker. Devin Lloyd. I just think Leo Chenal's just such a Patriot player. Like, the things that he does on the field, so similar to like Dante Hightower. But then he's also a really good athlete, so he could drop back and possibly play coverage, which he didn't do a lot in college at Wisconsin. But I think he could do more in the NFL, just how he tested out. Like a rare athlete, and also has the size to rush the passer. They can just use him everywhere on the defense. I think Bill Belichick would value a player like that in the middle. So, yeah, really like Leo Chenal. So then the Packers' first pick, like receiver, that's really what they need to target. Again, if there isn't anybody there, like I would take Jahan Dotson or Traylon Burks. But I'm going to take Devontae Wyatt because I don't think he'll be there at 28. And besides Kenny Clark, they don't have a lot in that defensive line. They did sign somebody from the Chiefs who had a horrible start to the year but finished pretty well. But I think Devontae Wyatt could be a really good player alongside Kenny Clark. And they need somebody to help stop the run off. So Devontae Wyatt, not as good as stopping the run as he is a pass rusher. But I just think they need more bodies there, and kind of only really one of their big needs on the defense. And then for the Cardinals at 23 now, Zion Johnson still here is pretty enticing. Same with Andrew Booth. Kaiir Elam. Their interior offensive line isn't as bad now, though. So, I'm going to go for Andrew Booth then. Because, the corner position for the Cardinals, I thought it would be worse last year, but it wasn't that bad. Like, Marco Wilson didn't look horrible. But also, he wasn't drafted super highly. And then besides Marco Wilson, like, you already got your slot. But then on the outside, there is major question marks, and Andrew Booth's upside is really high, which is kind of why I want to take him here for the Cardinals. One of their main needs. So this brings us to the Cowboys. There's too many offensive linemen for me not to take any of them. And yeah, I'll take Zion Johnson. I think he's the best guard in the class, definitely. I think he'll be elite straight away, and they could definitely use help on the offensive line. Like, I think they could go after tackle. Like, wouldn't be surprised if Bernhard Raymond went here. But the offensive line's kind of falling apart a bit. You got aging players also. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Zion Johnson played tackle. Like, I think he did that the year before last season. He played the whole year at tackle. It wasn't that bad. But his best position definitely is guard. He can play center also. So Tyler Biadasz is struggling, you can maybe move him there. You could just use him everywhere, kind of like Kenyon Green, but I just think he's a better player at guard. So that brings us to the Bills. Andrew Booth off the board. I think they would definitely consider him. They kind of already got their center. Kenyon Green, would not be surprised. This could even be where the first linebacker goes. That could definitely be an option. Did I say linebacker? I meant to say running back. I think I said linebacker. Yeah, I meant to say running back. Running back could be a pick here. I wouldn't like it though. Like, second round, I'd rather take is a pretty deep running back class. which is why I'm going to go for Kenyon Green, just because his versatility on the offensive line, like what he can do, he can start. I think he'll probably start a guard for the Bills straight away. Because, I mean, their tackle position isn't set either. So if he does do really well in like camp or something at tackle, maybe see what he can do there for you. But just improving the offensive line for Josh Allen, really only one of their short list of needs. They don't have a lot of needs. So you can go for kind of the best players on the board, and Kenyon Green definitely was one of the best players available and does fill a need. Now for the Titans, I think quarterback could be a real option here for the Titans. Would not be surprised. Like receiver, maybe, but I don't think they go for receiver in the first round. Let's see. I'm gonna go off the wall and pick Matt Corral. I think Matt Corral is just a really good fit for the Titans. Ryan Tannehill, he's not been able to bring you anywhere past the playoffs. You've gone just struggles whenever he's gone to the playoffs, to be honest. And I don't think Matt Corral has to start straight away. He definitely doesn't, because you still got Ryan Tannehill, who's a good player, but Matt Corral in this RPO system, got Derrick Henry, is run heavy. Just plugging him in after like a couple of years sitting behind Ryan Tannehill, I think that'd be really nice for Matt Corral, and he could work out very well with AJ Brown there. So yeah, you might not see that a lot, but I think it's definitely possible. And then for the Buccaneers at pick 27, would not go Linderbaum. I think he's only a center. He's a center only player. John Dotson. I'm going to go for Daxton Hill, though. I think Daxton Hill's such a good player. He can play everywhere on the defense for you. Like day one, step in, replace Jordan Whitehead, who you lost in free agency. And I think I think it'd be very good there for the Buccaneers. They don't have a lot of needs either, so Daxton Hill it is. And now for the Packers second pick, and it's perfect. You got Jahan Dotson available, Sky Moore, but Treylon Burks in this kind of Kyle Shanahan-esque system, used him like Deebo Samuel, I think would be an amazing pick. Like, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they go for him at 22. Like, I would like that even if they did, but I just think Devontae Wyatt, I just had to pick him then, or else he would get taken. Treylon Burks falls because there wasn't really anybody else that really needed a receiver, and they get him at 28. I think they could still use another weapon, but already getting a player like Treylon Burks in there, I think would be very nice for the Packers. Then the Chiefs at 29. First pick, they're another team that needs a receiver. Or a corner. Oh, on edge, of course. Boye Mafe would be nice. Maybe even like David Ojabo. I would not be surprised if they go for him, even with the injury. But I'm going to go for Sky Moore. I think Sky Moore is a really good player. I think he could definitely go in the first round. And I think your receiver position is fine after that. Like, you kind of got play like Juju Smith-Schuster can play in the slot. Sky Moore on the outside of MVS. And you got some other players like, I don't think they need to go for a deep threat necessarily with having MVS. But I think Sky Moore can do everything. He's a really good route runner. Good all-around player. And then with their second pick, This for me is between Kyrie Elam and like Boye Mafe. What other edges is there? Or Arnold Ebiketie. Yeah, I'm going for Arnold Ebiketie. What the hell was that? Yeah, I think Arnold Ebiketie, he can just start day one for the Chiefs and step in at a very weak position for them that they've kind of struggled to address. Like Frank Clark just isn't good, and besides that, you don't really have a lot there. So Arnold Ebiketie probably start straight away. Can just be a really good, consistent player, a good run stopper, and good at rushing the passer. And then the second to last pick of the Bengals. Ugh, it's such a boring pick, but it's so easy. Tyler Linderbaum, you got your center for the next 10 years here with Joe Burrow. I just feel like the fall is just because he probably can't play guard, and teams aren't really going to take a center that highly, and like a lot of teams don't really need a center besides like the Bengals. The dude did sign Ted Karras, who can play center, but he can also play guard. So you just move Ted Karras to guard, which is another need already. Tyler Linderbaum in center. I think your offensive line's perfect for next year. And now the last pick of the first round. I don't want to go for quarterback. I think next year, much better quarterback class. It's either receiver or linebacker or safety. Just gonna see who there is. Let's see the receivers. I'm going for George Pickens. I think George Pickens would be very nice for the Lions. Kind of round out that receiver core. I think he could definitely go in the first round. Of course, tore his ACL, so wasn't able to play a lot last year. But when he was on the field for Georgia, he's been a very good player. So I like George Pickens, and that rounds out this mock draft. So I'll be doing a 7-round mock draft before the draft, probably a couple days before. Yeah, so make sure you look out for that. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this mock draft. Of course, they're probably going to kill me for it, because you're going to be like, oh, no, my team should have took this. Okay, you try and make a 32. You try and make a mock draft and get everything perfect that nobody would dislike, because this is impossible. But I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.